Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this Smackdown review and opinions video. We're going to get to your thoughts. Let's do the matches first and then we'll dig into some of my thoughts and then we'll move on to your thoughts. So, Tiffany versus Liv. This really did not get much time. You lot scored it good 84%. Then we had Street Profits against Pretty Deadly. Again, pretty throwaway type match. This was good 91%. Then we had the Naomi and Bayley against Candice and Indi match. This one, I think, was overshadowed by the fact that it's Indi's last match. I mean, it's pretty wild for her to get released. And then, like, literally later that night, they show her on their show, you know? It's kind of crazy, to be honest, that they did that. It was hard to watch this match and not think about the fact that she's no longer with the company. That news, of course, breaking just before the show. But even you lot that watched it gave it good 85%. Then we had Io against Lash, against Bianca and Piper Niven. I think this was probably the best match on the show. But it didn't mean anything. Like, we know this is basically just an advert for the women's tag match that's coming tomorrow. So we actually spoke during the live stream about the fact that this could have been a promo. All the teams could have been sat there, like, you know, trading insults, and then it turned into a big brawl. And that could have set up the match tomorrow. But instead they went with this fatal four-way, which I don't mind them doing, but it would be good if this meant something. It would be good if there was some sort of stipulation. I don't know what stipulation you could add to this match. But either way, it didn't mean anything. Io and Dakota got the win. And that's that. Momentum. That's what they got. Momentum. And then our main event, Cody and Randy against Gunther and Ludwig. This got good 92%. That means not a single match on this show got into the great range. Not a single match. I don't think it was helped by the fact that this was spoiled as well. Although, to be honest with you, I avoided the spoilers. I genuinely didn't know which way these matches were going to go. This really felt like a go-home. Like, a lot of stuff here just really didn't feel like it mattered. Like, this was absolutely a missable SmackDown. You could have missed this, and I really don't think you would have missed anything. There was that moment, which was Roman, Jay, and Jimmy being in the ring. That was already all over social media, of course. And that moment is a big moment, but I just don't know. It just feels rushed to me. I feel like we've changed the dynamic of the group. And I feel like this needs to be better understood. Like, I would love for Roman to talk about, like, well, shall we get rid of the acknowledging, you know? You know, what is this group that we've got now? Like, because Jay said we're equals now. And I said during the stream, well, what does this mean anymore? This was always, I acknowledge you, my tribal chief. But now, you know, what does this mean? And actually, some people in the comments were saying, well, this means we the ones now. That's what it represents. It's no longer about, well, if that's no longer about acknowledging, that feels like quite a significant moment in the history of the bloodline. And I would have liked for that to have had some room to breathe. The fact that we're changing the meaning of this now. This means we the ones. And some people might say, well, it's always meant that, but I've never seen it that way. I've always seen it as, who do we acknowledge? Are you acknowledging Solo? Are you acknowledging Roman? Who's the real tribal chief? Well, Roman has got merch that says original tribal chief, but I don't know. I mean, it feels like we're throwing tradition away as well, which is wild, because the story here surely is that you've got tribal chiefs and you've got elders, and, you know, this is the person that's leading the tribe. Well, sort of now what the Usos have said is we don't want a tribal chief. We don't want a leader. We're not going to follow anyone. We're going to be equals. Which, you know, is a change in their tradition. So, I don't know, like, you've got high chiefs and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting that we're throwing that away, all that heritage, and now we're going to be equals. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that this feels like it's bigger than the spoiled segment that we got. Like, I would like to dig into this. I would like to better understand. I feel like we've ripped up the Bloodline rulebook and we're rewriting it. And we've rewritten it in a fairly short segment. The only word we got out of Roman was yeet. And I don't know, it's just not sitting with me. It's not sitting well with me. This has always been a story that's really cared about the detail. And we've moaned a lot about this being a tape show, but just even looking at the segment we got, it just felt undercooked to me. It just felt like we could have spent a bit longer really drilling into some of this stuff, you know? And I know people might say, yeah, but that's boring. But I also think that's been a big part of the success of the Bloodline, is that we understand the little details, and the details matter. And all of a sudden now, we just seem to be going a million miles an hour because, oh my God, it's Crown Jewel tomorrow. You know, oh my God, it turns out we actually needed to do quite a bit of this stuff weeks ago. And it turns out it's Crown Jewel tomorrow. So have we got the match graphic out? Yeah. Have we announced that? Have we got Jay over there? We'll worry about everything else after Crown Jewel. So, yes, look, it is what it is. I really don't think this has been built very well. I think it's been rushed. There's a lot that annoys me, as people know about this. But on we go. I mean, look, all I'm going to say is I ain't got much love for the show. This was one of the worst shows I think I saw this year. I really have not got much love for the show at all. Score-wise, we're struggling. We're really struggling, to be honest. So I'm probably looking at about a 5, if that. I mean, I don't want to go to the 4s, but I could go to the 4s on this. I really could. I really would put this up there with one of the worst shows I've seen this year. I mean, wasn't it at the halfway point I said one of the best things I've seen on this show was them correcting something on the show that had annoyed me. So Tiffany saying, all of a sudden out the blue, I haven't decided who I'm cashing in on. That annoyed me, because for her to show her hand in that moment felt like the wrong time to do it. For me, like, you should abuse Tiffany, and then Tiffany, in the moment where she's got to decide at Crown Jewel, am I cashing in? She wallops Nia in that moment, and you get that big reaction like, oh my God, she's turned on Nia. Oh my God, she's standing up for herself, and then she cashes in on Nia 1, 2, 3. Like, that's a great moment that you build towards. I don't think you show your hand on the go-home show like this. I don't think you do that. And so straight away when she did that, it was like, oh, why is she doing this? I don't like this. What's going on? And then, of course, backstage, she's like, I didn't mean it. So my favourite part of the show was the part where something that had happened earlier turned out to not be true. That was my favourite part of the show at the halfway point. And actually, it might end up being my favourite part of the show, full stop. I mean, listen, Roman saying yeet was a nice moment. I ain't got a problem with it. And them all throwing up the wands. My only question was, what does that mean now? That was my only question. But I like what people have said. It means we the wands. Oh, and I don't mind that. I don't mind that. That's perfectly acceptable answer for me. So there we go. I'm a boomer. I've had my moan. And as we said, we move on to Crown Jewel. So those are my thoughts. Score-wise, really low, unfortunately. But let's see what you lot thought. Perhaps you lot thought this was the greatest show that ever existed. Kelly said, I'm just finishing up SmackDown. I'm not feeling well. It was pretty good. I loved the spot with Roman, Jay, and Jimmy. Roman yeeting was cool. Poor Tiffy has a huge knot on her head. She's definitely leaving us thinking about what she's going to do. Fatal 4-Way was good. All I could focus on was Io's upper thigh. She seemed to have a reaction to the metal on her gear. I did see that. I didn't know if it was a reaction or if she had landed on it, because there was like a ring, wasn't there, on her thigh. I did notice that in the moment, that there seemed to be like a mark there. But I don't know if it was a reaction or if it had like gone into her leg and that had brought that out. She had a huge red mark, like a rash. KO definitely becoming disconnected. He's dangerous now more than ever. I'm watching the last match. I don't know what happens. I'm going to give it 7.25. Hopefully, Crown Jewel will be good. Kelly the Wise Lady, shout out to you. Sorry for the second comment. All I'll say is I knew KO was going to do what he did. I'm sure we all did. I'm still 725. Roman Reigns saying yeet, said Samori. Nick Butcher, Kim Strain said, SmackDown was awful. The only highlight was seeing Candice wrestle. Why are Pretty Deadly still on the roster? They are cringe. 6, only because Candice was on the show. If it wasn't there, it would have been 3.5, 375 at best. WWE Ethan said, Daze, I thought SmackDown was alright. I think the Tiffy promo was interesting, as she could cash in on anyone, and she's teasing taking Dom as well. That was fun. Do I get Dominic? I quite fancy a bit of dirty. That was a good line. I'm not sure about momentum matches. They do seem unnecessary. When we are about to learn some about Motor City Machine Guns, they get interrupted, which was really annoying. Bloodline spot was cool, but was spoilt. Overall, the show, 6.5. Jang Tae Sang said, Daze, what's up? I loved it, even if it was pre-taped. I didn't get spoiled. The OTC Roman Reigns finally yeeted, and the OG Bloodline is back. Also, Tiffy clarified that she could cash in on Nia as well. I absolutely loved to see EO win. 10 out of 10, yeet. Briggsy said 5. I don't see why it had to be taped. Happy that OG Bloodline are back together, even though it's rushed. A frustrating episode that really didn't really need to be. Well, I think it was taped because right now they are actually in Saudi. So, I mean, I don't know why they couldn't have done SmackDown live from Saudi. That's one that WWE would have to answer. But I think they taped it because, like, they're not there. This was, they're not actually in America. They're not, like, in an arena. But why couldn't they just do it in the building that they've already got hired? I mean, they must have the ring set up tonight, you know? Why couldn't they just do it live there? Don't know. Brady said, hashtag thank you, Indi. I'm glad that she got to have a last match in WWE with 2 of her favourites, Bayley and Mama Candice. Brandon said it was great. I don't mind filler matches. The Women's Fatal 4-Way is my match of the night. I've managed to miss... that helps with my scoring. 6.9. I don't know what that means. What's that word? All spoilers, maybe. I've managed to miss all spoilers, so that got it. Oh my god, we worked it out. Love it. I've managed to miss all spoilers, so that helps with my score. Got you. Leah said slept straight through it. Didn't see much point to watch it because everything was spoiled, said basic username. I understand that. Sam said 3 out of 10 for Friday night Sikoa tonight. Brackets, Sam Sports. Watson, hello. Daze, I wanted to get your thoughts on what I think could be the big 3 matches, okay? Last 5 in the Rumble would be Roman, Rock, Punk, Cody, and Randy. Winner would be Punk. It's funny, actually, you know, I've just done a video, unseen, where I said I was quite surprised at Cena being rumoured to be in the title picture, because I thought they would go Punk. But actually, you've put Cena in with Cody and Randy, which is interesting. I mean, okay, Rock versus Roman, I can definitely vibe with that. Gunther versus Punk, I can vibe with that. Not crazy about a triple threat, and a triple threat that's got... well, I'm guessing Randy would be heel in there, so 2 faces. Don't know. Not crazy about Cody, Cena, Randy. I feel like I would rather that just be one-on-one. Cody, Cena, best man wins. Ideally, that's hard, isn't it? Because you don't really want us to turn the crown on Cody. You know, he should be like the guy that takes us forwards. So we shouldn't really be trying to put any shade on him. So Cody, Cena's difficult. That's difficult. That would be hard. If I was asked how would you book it, that would be difficult. How do you book Cena, Cody? Because surely the people are going to be with Cena. Surely they're going to be with Cena, because this is his last year. Every match Cena has next year, he's going to be crazy over. And I don't know that I want to turn the crowd against Cody, even if it's just fleeting. Unless you're turning Cody heel, but I really don't think we're doing that next year. So, yeah, I don't know. Good question. Good question. I don't think I would do that. I would do Cody against heel Randy. I would do that match. Getting Cena in there, though, is difficult. That is difficult. I wouldn't hate Cody against heel Punk. And then you could do Gunther Cena. Don't know where that leaves us for Randy, though. Yeah, tricky. There's a lot of people to try and fit in, isn't it? A lot of challenges there. Don't mind that. Don't mind that. Just struggling a little bit with this. But then I'm not crazy about triple threats. And as I said, I think in that match, Cena would be crazy over. That's fine because he's a heel. It's not brilliant for Cody. Kane said it was mid. Nothing interesting except solo vignette. He's not wrong. What did he say? I'm the bad guy. Yeah, but he did attack them all. You know, he did take out Jimmy. And he did then proclaim himself tribal chief without actually being given that honor. He just sort of took it. I know that Roman said that Solo would be next, but we don't know that Roman's time was up. Like, Solo just decided Roman's time was up when actually Roman's lost the title, but shouldn't he be given the opportunity to try and win it back? Shouldn't he be given the opportunity to, you know, couldn't we get an agreement in that, okay, try again at SummerSlam, and if you don't get it, I'll take over as tribal chief. Like, we could have had that agreement in place. You know, at the end of the day, it comes down to communication. I think there was a communication breakdown. Solo took something he thought was his. I don't think it was his yet. And I think the repercussions have resulted in him being the bad guy. So, interesting, Kane, that you think Solo's not wrong there. I think he has... I think there's been a breakdown in communication, and I think he has unfortunately found himself in a situation where he is the bad guy now. Miss Clown, shout out to you. Not feeling it. Craig said it was a 7. It was a really good show. Could have been better if it wasn't taped. There were so many spoilers. They need to stop doing these tapings. I do not disagree with that. Johnny said both Raw and SmackDown have been lacking these past few weeks with storyline logic and leaks. Tiffany's opening segment didn't make sense. She did roll that back, in all fairness. But I agree with you. I was not crazy about that during our live stream. Why is Jay trying to reconcile with Roman? Shouldn't it be the other way round? That's a great point. He's kind of gone to Roman, telling Roman this is how it's gonna be. If we're gonna work, and all's Roman was like, yeet. Yeah. Where was the apology for all the stuff he put Jay through? That's actually a really good point. That's a really good point. Johnny said, give me Tiffy 3 belts and I'll forgive all these faults. So, Johnny, I really like that. Really, I think you've hit something there. Carl said, it was all right. Uso stuff was, again, good, but weird. All it took for Jay to forgive Roman was Roman saying yeet. It's such a good point. The Fatal 4-Way was match of the night, I agree. And Io winning was easily the best part of the show. Can't wait for her second win in 2 days tomorrow. Wrestling fan since day one said, I love seeing Bianca Belair matches. She always has amazing matches, no matter what match it is, in my opinion. Roman Reigns and the Usos, to be honest, I feel like they're going to lose tomorrow. And the next big match, they should include Paul Heyman and Sami. I agree. They should have their final match at Survivor Series. Maybe a War Games match. Pretty Deadly got called up to the main roster. And now look at them. Shake my head. SmackDown, 575 days. What's your prediction for tomorrow? And after the whole Bloodline story ends, where do they go from there? Good night, my friend. I always enjoy your streams. See you tomorrow for Crown Jewel. It's Tiffy time. Wrestling fans since day one. Shout out to you. Obviously, predictions are already on the channel. I think that this Bloodline lose. I think they have to go and get Heyman. I think they have to go and get Sami, as you rightfully said. Then we get War Games. I could see it being a case that the OG Bloodline win at War Games. That would make it 1-1, really, I suppose. I think there's also a chance that The Rock then makes his presence felt, and that Survivor Series is really where we start the road to WrestleMania. I'm not saying The Rock will be back at that point, but I think The Rock could make it quite clear that he is on an opposing side to Roman, right? He's already sort of made it clear by talking about the BS that's been going down these past 6 months since WrestleMania. You remember when he came back and made that comment? I could see something similar at Survivor Series. And I don't know that we head towards Roman Rock, but I think we can definitely make it clear that Rock is no longer acknowledging Roman or joining in with this kind of we the one stuff, you know? There's a history, there's a heritage, there's a tribal chief. Roman failed. I fully expect, of course, The Rock to be on Solo's side and Jacob's side and this new Bloodline side. So I feel like we're going that way. I think Jay next year should go off to try and win a world title. I think Roman should feud with maybe Solo. Try to get the Ula Fala, of course. I mean, I could see Roman Solo, WrestleMania 41, winner tribal combat, winner gets the Ula Fala type situation. I could totally see that. And with a good build, you could really make that matter, you know? You could really make people care about that. And it seems like The Rock is probably going to be with Solo, helping Solo. But again, word on the street was he was going to face Cody at WrestleMania 41. So, I don't know. It's interesting. I think these plans are fluid. You know, the word on the street was Cody Rock, WrestleMania 41, Rock Roman, WrestleMania 42. And then, of course, we heard rumors of a triple threat. Cody, Rock, Roman in a triple threat. Which, who knows, maybe it does go that way still. So I think it's very difficult because the rumor mill keeps changing. But, I don't know. I think there's lots of options, lots of ways to go. I really wouldn't want Jay to move away from his singles run, though. I think that's been good for him, and I think that there's still things to be achieved. Al Marble said, wasn't the best show, but it was okay. Hate that most of it was leaked before the show. I agree, buds. Chris said, days for a go-home show. This one would have been excellent, but WWE basically ruined it for me, not having the show live, then making Bloodline days earlier, having Indi on the show after letting her go. I'm going to go 5. Jello Man said, more of opinion in general about wrestling, but I seem to be way less interested in a show when they pre-record it like tonight. No, you're not alone in that. Ron said it was okay. Nothing really to call home about. Jay said, I thought it was weird watching Indi Hartwell wrestle when she just got let go earlier today. Why didn't they do that until after Crown Jewel to announce it? I genuinely don't know. I don't know if there was something in the timing, like their contracts maybe expired at the end of October. And so, like, hence why they announced it on the 1st of November. It could be something like that. Lash needs more in-ring work. She's big and badass-ish, but needs some polishing. Rest was 5 out of 10. Wes said it was good, could have been better. Alex said it was a good SmackDown. OG Bloodline Reuniting gets a yeet. I saw in a video on X a little while ago that unhinged Liv is most likely back. Tiffany got what she deserved by flirting with Liv's daddy Dominic. 725, said Alex. Capri Sun said, honestly, it was very lackluster. Pre-recorded SmackDown Raws always feel so empty, and I think it felt jumpy. The 4-way and the Roman Jimmy J segment saved it from being a very boring episode. I also think it don't help that the crowd were really dead. They just really did not seem into much of this at all. Nishi said it was a great episode. Loved Bloodline segment. And for me, the women's match was match of the night. I'm glad that Io won. Solo's vignette was excellent. 10 out of 9 said Kiki. Logan James said Daze. And Hot Takers is Tiffany's cash in. Liv Morgan. Rhea is... cashes in on Liv. Rhea is injured. Changes all the storylines. I'm okay Damage Control not winning the tag titles because Io and Kairi have a chance at the Women's World Championship. Got you. Brendan said, let's do Goldberg versus Big E. Batman parody said, honestly, it wasn't a good show. The only good thing in the show was the OG Bloodline segment. Roman saying yeet was awesome. Overall, 4. El Patata, hello, said Roman acknowledged Jimmy for one show, and now he does the shut up and give me the mic. Yeah, he did, didn't he? My guess is Roman will still will want to take the pin instead of Jay. They argue and they lose. Solo cooked. I'm scared Triple H is not going to give the titles to the best tag team, the Sky Pirates, but instead transitional champions, killing momentum, as always. I hate commentators saying EO steals it. It's a fatal 4-way. EO just won. Crowds bad during matches, except for EO's win. Show 5 with a great ending, says Alpatana. 2 more. Pete Dub Freaks said KO places injury on Orton. Foreshadows win versus Orton at Crown Jewel. OG might have a surprise cooking for Crown Jewel. Sammy turning heel versus Usos. And OTC better story. Bring more new Bloodline members. Good SmackDown. Any news on Damien's new character upgrade, Undertaker 2.0? Only what we spoke about in Unseen. That WrestleVotes have said that he may be leaning more, now he's going solo, into his Puerto Rican heritage, and that there was a mask he wore at WrestleMania, and we may see him wearing that on a more regular basis. So it is going to be interesting, because of course he can't keep wearing what he's wearing. It still feels very Judgment Day-ish. So I think they will look to move him into his kind of solo singles star kind of attire soon, and it feels like it's going to be very Puerto Rican heritage themed. John Elite said, I love the OG Bloodline reunion. I enjoyed Solo's promo. So unfortunate with the releases. Wish them all the best. Hopefully they can come back one day, and I'm looking forward to Crown Jewel tomorrow. There we go. Right, I want to have a look actually at the score on I want to have a look at the score on YouTube. Let's see if I can find it. Boom, boom. I haven't even looked to see if it has, there we go, uploaded. Let's do this. Let's do this. Lovely. Yes, it did. Oh, great. It works. Great. So, this is 4 hours ago. What do you think about SmackDown? You lot seem to really like it. It's funny because the comments are like, this was mid. Like, there was some that were saying it was like 725 or whatever, but man, again, it was just like that Raw episode. It's really weird. Like, Raw was quite heavily criticized. And then it got these scores. And now SmackDown is a go-home with a load of matches that don't really matter. And a load of comments from people like, this was 5. I think I read 5 more than anything else. But then you look at this and it's like, great is winning. Like, I don't know what's going on, to be honest. I don't know what's going on. I'm worried that people are just sort of voting the same thing all the time. And we're just going to end up with a load of the same scores. It's all right if you really think a show is not very good to say it's not very good. It's okay. This is nothing to do with AEW or anything like that. We're just judging the scores against, like, all the shows against the other shows that WWE have put out. And by comparison, I think this one was very much lacking compared to some of the other shows we've seen from WWE in 2024. So 8% of people thinking that what we got tonight was an all-time episode. I mean, maybe it was, but not in a good way. 51% thought it was great. Over half of people that voted thought this was a great episode. 38% thought it was okay or good. 4% thought it was bad. Honestly, for me personally, by WWE standards, I wouldn't be against going here. I might end up here, but I'm having a thought. I'm having a think, you know, as to which way I should go on this. And honestly, for this one, I mean, I scored it, what, about a 4-ish, did I say? That's probably about here. That's probably about here, I would imagine. And I'd imagine that here is about like 7.5. That's probably like 4-ish. That's about 7.5. That's got to be about 8.5 up here. Something like that. Don't know. I haven't quite figured out how the numbers relate to this score, but I feel like I'm about here. So, I don't know. Interesting. I mean, it is down 51%. It is down on what we got from NXT. But it's above what we got from Raw. Don't know. Interesting. How did it do compared to last week's Raw? Last week's Raw got 8 all-time, 66% great. So it is a bit down compared to last week, but not by loads. Not by loads. Last week got 8% all-time, so did this week. Last week got 66% great. This week it's just 51. So it's down, but not by much. Interesting. We'll keep an eye on that, of course. We've still got only a small sample size. Normally we end up with a good 400, 500 votes. At the moment, we're still at 183, so we'll see how that develops. But there we go. That was this week's SmackDown, and appreciate people joining us. We will be back, obviously, for Crown Jewel. We're going to start nice and early with that. We'll be starting at least 2 hours before the kickoff show, and then we'll be moving into the kickoff show and all of that. And, you know, it's at a weird time. It's going to probably affect things. You know, people don't wake up and think, oh, right, wrestling's on. So it is a bit strange. But no, I'm looking forward to it. And I think it should be a really interesting show. Hard to be down on Bloodline, regardless of how we got there. Crown Jewel Championship, I think, feels a little better thanks to those rings. And we spoke about that in Unseen. So, and Cody Gunther will bang. There's no two ways about that. Cody Gunther will bang. Tiffany... there's going to be something to do with her cash in, obviously. I think as well, you know, Randy KO is spicy, and Seth Bronson's been good, and there seems to be a bit of excitement for the women's Fatal 4-Way tag team match. So, yeah, we'll see. Looking forward to it. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support. I will see you again later for WWE Crown Jewel. Bye for now.